Hello everybody and welcome to Forever Rugby on Forever Sports, and I am unashamedly wearing a Lions jersey because the Lions have just beaten the Bulls 34 points to 33. What an absolutely sensational game of rugby and a huge moment for a Lions team which have become, I wouldn't say become, I think that's a bit unfair, but in this Rainbow Cup kind of looked like the Whooping Boys, kind of looked like the Lions of old where they just haven't been able to get anything done and be able to score points and be able to sort of challenge for any games. And with so many players missing and stuff like that, the Lions came out and just went toe-to-toe against a very, very good Bulls side and said, you know what, we're drawing a line in the sand. Our losing stops today, and pulled off a sensational victory against the Bulls. An absolutely sublime performance. I mean, you can't really fault anybody in that Lions outfit. But it was just a brilliant, brilliant game of rugby. 34 points to 33. Some fantastic individual moments, some really big performances from both sides. And I think for me, the biggest thing is, as South African fans, we can just sit there and watch the Rainbow Cup today and think, you know what? That is South African rugby. We've seen two brilliant games today. We've seen two high-standard games today. We've seen games which are now starting, one of my biggest things when I'm looking at performances is I'm sitting there saying, but are these games a good reflection? Are we playing a high standard of rugby? The answer is yes. Right now, there is a really high standard of rugby being played in this Rainbow Cup. It is so close between all the sides. There's not a lot of room for error, and there's just been fantastic moments. But before we break down this game, which I think for me has probably been the game of the tournament so far, just because of how close it is. I mean, obviously the Stormers and the Lions were very close last weekend, but I think you look at it and you think that there was some very easy tries, whereas today it was really hard earned. Both sides earned their stripes, and I think the Lions deserved winners. Their defense let them down, but deserved winners in the end. But before we break down the game, please do smash a like on the video, subscribe to the channel as well. We're like 4 away from getting to 1,400 subscribers, so I'm happy. Surely, as a neutral, you're happy. Anybody besides Bulls fans are happy, so subscribe right now. Hit that subscribe button. Get us up to 1,400. But let's look at some of the stats. So if we look at the breakdown of the game itself, it started off with a try in the 4th minute by Ruben Skuman. And the Lions hit the ground running. They started off really well. And Ruben Skuman went over in the 4th minute, and Jordan Hendrickson converted. And the Lions were looking good. But the Bulls do what the Bulls do, hey? They get into the Lions half, and Alberto went over in the 14th minute, and Chris Smith converts. And that's what the Bulls do. Whenever they get into the half of their opposition, they find points. They'll take... if they have 5 Vincent and 22, chances are they can take 5 tries, 5 points, scoring opportunities. That's what the Bulls do. They grind you down because they make their chances count. Jordan Henderson slotted a penalty in the 20th minute to regain the lead for the Lions. Before then, David Creel went over in the 26th minute. Ras McClana then had a brilliant individual effort, the best try of the game by far, as they went down the blind side, ran down, he saw Dwayne Vermeulen, and Dwayne Vermeulen was trying to sort of herd him towards the touchline to give him that edge, because obviously we know that Ras McClana is going to be faster, but Ras went inside to show that Dwayne Vermeulen couldn't use the touchline, and then went around Dwayne Vermeulen, chipped ahead of David Creel, and dove on it. And they said, well, here we go. Jordan Henderson converted, but Madosh Tambwe said, anything you can do, I can do better. A brilliant individual try by him as well. Fantastic finish, hurdling over E.W. Fullion, who he went for the legs as you would, but Madosh Tambwe, aware to the threat, jumped over him, and he went over, and conversions slotted by Chris Smith. So Jordan Henderson then kicked a penalty goal in the 40th minute. So the Lions went into half-time with a 1-point lead. But it was all Bulls in the beginning of the second half, and I thought the Lions stuffed it up. Chris Smith went over in the 47th minute, some poor defending by the Lions. He converted his own try. Then David Creel went over for a second of the match in the 51st minute, Chris Smith converting that. So only 14 points in the first 11 minutes of the second half, and it looked like maybe that was the game done. But the Lions didn't panic. Weirdly enough, the Lions, who have struggled in these sort of situations, they didn't panic, and they got themselves back into the game. And we'll speak about sort of where they won the game, but they got a try through MJ Pulsar, very nasty worked, and Jordan Hendrickson then converted it, and then Fred Zailing came off the bench and scored a try in the 73rd minute, a conversion from him as well to give the Lions a 1-point lead, and they managed to see it out very well. The reason the Lions won that game were 2 reasons. Number one, the scrums. What a performance from that Lions front, both Lions front rows. The Lions had the edge of the scrums from the first minute until the last minute. They were scrumming up against a Springbok front row. I mean, well, not Johan Kobela, but Yusuf Koboka, pushing for that spot left by Vincent, and then Trevor Nyakani. And yet the Lions said, that's fine. We don't care that you're Springbok props. We're going to scrum you. And the Bulls won just one of 3 scrums the entire game. And even that reserve front row from the Lions, Asanate and Klabakanya, Ruandrea now on the loose head, so much better as a loose head. I mean, he was decent as a tight head, but I never really rated him that highly. He made Springboks a tight head, having said that. But really doing well in that loose head. And they just had that scrum ascendancy, and they used that to really good effect because the Bulls lineup was operating. But that Lions scrum was really good. So if we're looking at the stats, and I'm going to use Ultimate Rugby because I always find they're a little bit more accurate. 52% possession for Lions, 48% for the Bulls. I mean, the second half was 64% for the Lions. So they really did start to dominate towards the end of the game. Territory was 51-49. Not much in there. And then we go look at sort of some other stats like turnovers conceded. And that was the biggest, I think, problem with the Lions is that at the breakdown, the Bulls were bullying them. There's no other way to put it. The Bulls were bullying the Lions at the breakdown. I think the Lions conceded about 9 turnovers. They couldn't look after their ball. So despite looking a lot better when they had ball in hand and being able to get past the gain line, they were really struggling to look after their ball. But the Lions scored 4 tries to the Bulls 5. Defenders beaten, 19 from the Lions, 13 from the Bulls, 4 clean breaks apiece. Offloads, 6 by the Bulls, 2 from the Lions. Turnovers 1, 3 against 9. The Bulls won 9 turnovers. And that's a huge, huge stat. That was what kept the Bulls in the game. Whilst the Lions were dominating with scrums, they just weren't looking after the ball enough. Kicks from a hand were 27-28. But if we look at the tackles made, so the Lions had an 84% tackle success rate, 69 made of 82. But I thought the Lions' defensive structures were a little bit poor at times. I mean, that Christmas try was far too easy, just nobody in front of him. The Bulls made 86 of 105 tackles made. So the Lions kicked 75% goal kick success rate. The Bulls are 67. Ruck success rate 90% for the Lions. You see where they struggled there compared to 95% by the Bulls. Line success was the Lions' Achilles, 85%. 11 of 13 lineouts won. The Bulls won 100%, 13 of 13, but it was the scrums. 6 out of 6 scrums won by the Lions, 2 out of 4 won by the Bulls. And they contributed a lot of the penalties. I mean, you look at the penalty count, and it was 29 penalties against the Bulls and 10 against the Lions. So I'm sure a lot of Bulls fans will probably sort of say, the ref. But it all came down to the scrums, really. It was the scrums where the Lions were just winning all the battles. And rightly so, to be fair. So it was a monumental effort. There's nothing else I can say besides a monumental effort by a side who's been struggling for so long but been waiting for this type of performance. Vincent Gertouka was the man of the match. What an absolute brilliant performance by him. I mean, Alberto has been getting all the plaudits lately, and deserved. He's been phenomenal. But today we saw a brilliant contest between Alberto and Vincent Gertouka. Vincent Gertouka has been performing really well for the Lions for a long time and has to be pushing for the number 7 position in the box. Not necessarily now, because Pete Stetsatoya has a thing or two to say about that, but in the future. And he made 12 carries today, made 6 tackles, he gained 39 meters, beating 4 defenders as well. He was man of the match today. He was absolutely tremendous. If we're looking at some of the big players, Madosh Tambwe made 70 meters across his 2 carries, beating 5 defenders, a brilliant effort from him. Burger Unda I thought was pretty good today, he made 9 carries, beating 10 defenders, 1 line break. Right to see that Similani beat 5 defenders, Ras Bakwana beat 4 defenders, Vincent Gertouka beat 7 with his carries according to Rugby Pass. But if you look at the defense here, some big defensive efforts from the Bulls. Alberto and Malcolm Staden both made 17 tackles. Ruan Okia made 10 tackles. Madosh Tambwe made 14 tackles. Jan Kobela made 9 tackles. For the Lions, the big tackler was Ruben Skuman. He made 11. Len Massey made 10 tackles. So some very good performances on both sides. And that was what I think was so nice about this game, is it wasn't like the Lions, they weren't bad performances in the Bulls. There were some really good performances from both sides. It just was a monumental clash where 2 giants just suddenly decided to play some really good rugby at the same time. I mean, at the moment, it's almost like if the Lions play well, the Bulls can't play well. We've had these years where the Bulls dominated, and then the Lions dominated, and now the Bulls dominating. Today was a Yuxke derby where both sides pitched up and played some decent rugby. The Bulls did not play bad rugby at all. The Lions were just better on the day. And And so be it, and that's what we want to see in the Rainbow Cup. We want to see even matches where where a side like the Lions can decide, we're the underdogs, but if we pitch up, we can get a result. And that's what we want to see more of. The Bulls, I don't think they'll worry. They're still on top of the log. But what this does is this blows open the competition. Suddenly, the Stormers and the Sharks can actually start making a bit of a push. Stormers even coming off 2 wins now can make a push for top spot. So it just keeps the competition nice and honest. Let me know what you thought of the game down in the comments below. Smash a like on the video. Do subscribe to the channel if you're new. My name is Steven, and I'll chat to you soon.